better than and that Cyberpunk 20. I guess I'm just thinking this is on Steam and even many other games. You know how in your taste. I feel I admit that I have a I think that of course this guy can probably admits there are consistent with his title because he does kind of try to bring up some things like he can't quite entirely than the others, so he stay like consistent. My controls. This is a I think honestly, just my PlayStation's freaking hated me. Like my PlayStation drive now. It just sucks that like I'm having as many problems as I am. So hopefully I can do so. Okay, good. It looks like the video is working. It's slowing down the game. Kind of annoying to play. It could also be just the fact that I'm playing, but because I can't do things at the same time, so screw you, PlayStation. Even does my other games. So also delete. Deleted. Delete, because that was my delete. Why that's downloaded, because honestly I don't really want that. A lot of those types of mods ruin my game anyways. Like they never truly work quite as great. Probably gonna just start off with a new character. Okay. Is anything else downloaded that I need to know about? No? Good. So, talk about is Cyberpunk 2077. This video talking about which I'm going to do a new one because I don't say that video came out and now I've played more of each of the Fallouts. I have more to say and more to add to the overall conversation of Fallout games. Because I've been playing 3 in New Vegas. I didn't originally like 3 and I didn't originally care about New Vegas. I liked New Vegas better than 3 and I was just like, yeah, whatever. but nowadays I'm kind of leaning more towards 3 and 4 being my more Fallouts over New Vegas. But I have to still say, even in a situation like this, for games we fight against with that kind of problem, even Fallout 76 falls under this. The blind love, and even like there's a video talking about how the anime of Cyberpunk's gaslighting people into liking the video game. I don't think the game is good, and it actually pisses me off. It's actually pissing me off how stupid and blind that like people are just going into this game. Not that good. And I was looking into the themes. Up is Not Jump went into the theme of Fallout, where it's like, and even especially with New Vegas, it's like war takes all that it consumes, even people who fight against it. It's like it's plenty of themes, but it's still consistent with the themes, and its themes still connect to one another. So we're gonna create an encounter. Yes. This time we're gonna try to do the door or something along those lines. So but I think a better game is actually, if you're going to compare a Fallout game, it's going to be 3 or 4. And it's just the conversation of that he's having about Cyberpunk, comparing it to Fallout, is just, it's actually dumb. I'm just going to say it. It's actually dumb. It's an entirely different beast of game. Even within the Fallout series, the strongest points of this, I mean, you choose this game specifically, which is what made it win these aspects in specific, compared to the other Fallouts. You choose to compare the story to Cyberpunk, and I'm just like, whoa. If you are comparing, like, other stuff about the game, and even then I'm about to show you why it's not good at that stuff either.
War.
But yeah, no, Cyberpunk is not as good as even Fallout 4 and 3. First off, I want to say, when I came back to return to play Fallout, Cyberpunk, when the anime came out, I still couldn't get into it. I still didn't have fun with it. I still didn't care, and I actually feel it's one of those games where I started out liking Cyberpunk, actually, and then the more I returned to it, the less I liked it. And I just found more and more stuff I did not like that. I still have glitches with the game. Not everybody's gonna have mods on certain versions. Even the mods, like when Luke Stevens, I think, showed off the flying car mod, it's like, that means nothing. Like, the NPCs in the world don't interact or even have their day-to-day life similar to how they do, and even in Bethesda games and GTA games. And the same with traffic. Like, there's no traffic there, or just terrible PNG images of flying cars, so it makes the whole flying feel pointless, because there's nothing going on in the air. Even Watch Dogs Legion, which I don't even want to defend a Ubisoft game right now, has air traffic going on and feels more lively. So even the mods aren't entirely helping. The NPCs are just sort of there, they're not interesting. You can't, like, weird, because he's bringing up, like, they feel like numbers and skins of characters or NPCs or whatever. But no, they have way more to say, they have way more to do, they're way more lively than any of the NPCs in that Cyberpunk game. And then, while the main characters are designed well, I don't remember anybody other than Jackie, and Jackie's part of the story feels rushed with that pushed sticking, like, what was that? It was just like, not a flashback, more of a flash forward of just showing what you're doing with Jackie this whole time, and then you don't actually get to play those parts. It feels like there was a lot of content with Jackie. Jackie was interesting, but you only get to play him through the first half, and that's about it. So we're not gonna really change much about his face. I want to change his hair and maybe like his eyes and beard. Yeah. So can I change the hair? So it just doesn't. Where should I go? Should it be long? Yeah, let's go long.
Makes you look younger.
With the color, he has like a brown or something. But no, I don't agree.
This new haircut's really working for me.
My husband's changed into a monster in front of me. Facial hair. I just don't agree with Cyberpunk being better. I'll get into the themes of Cyberpunk as well. Actually, you know what? As well as say that right now. I had to look this up, by the way, because I didn't remember the themes, and the themes are basically in the environments and the look of the game. But I had to look this up because I just didn't care. I didn't remember. And what I was about to say is once Jackie's out of the picture, you get Johnny Silverhand, and honestly, Johnny Silverhand and V, for the most part at least, are very unlikable jackasses most of the game. Feel can relate to them. Just a completely how it utilize character makes sense, and trying to make it like using TV shows. Like, why would compared to a movie? Yeah, but not TV. A movie. It's completely different. The more I thought about that video, the more pissed off I was. I thought it was structured well. I will say that. I think that it's way better than most of my videos in its structured stuff, though. I'm not always going to have time trying to see. He is like a blue.
Not
there
bad.
we go.
Not bad.
Alright. I think I'm done. Confirm. But let me get the themes up here. So sorry, it's taking a little bit for this. I want to get through this quickly. So, transhumanism, ascendancy through technology, corporate abuse, emergent AI, and the concepts of self-identity and morality. That's what I get when I Google Cyberpunk 2077 theme. Because I forgot the themes, even watching his video, I forgot what the frickin' themes were.
Ah, good morning, sir. Your coffee.
I don't remember most of the characters. I think the characters are well designed. Can say the same thing for Fallout, but I feel like Fallout's got way more weight. So Cyberpunk is like a game on the surface that you could compare. It's got RPG first person the dialogue. Even a story, I like themes and characters and crap. So it's still very.
You know, I was nervous at first, but
The
it's really good with Sean.
Enjoy your coffee, sir.
Just, good job. Like nonetheless. So I want to get into the the characters have become iconic in both Fallout 3, and what he's saying is he likes Cyberpunk, or that Cyberpunk's story is better because it's not only consistent and has a main character with consistent traits to them, even though you're an RPG,
Can you get that?
your
It's
character,
probably that salesman. He
you
comes to
do
you every
whatever
day.
with your character, and yes, actions are probably more like
Good
the main
morning.
character. I don't disagree with that, but that's not what Fallout isn't trying to be like Cyberpunk in that sense. And I'm kind of sick of games trying to be the movies sometimes. I kind of want a game to be fun. It's okay here and there, but what happened to fun? I can't, and I'll get like into that too, because I don't have fun. This dialogue system is garbage. But it's better than Cyberpunk. I'm about to get into the dialogue system because I think Cyberpunk is a fake RPG as well. Even Fallout 4 has things that actually make a difference and change. Even Skyrim. And that's the game that's called the freaking Babies RPG. The hand-holding game and all that. And that's better than Cyberpunk as well.
Sounds great.
Oh, it is. Believe you me.
It's kind of hard to focus on the stuff with these assholes talk. Cyberpunk, don't remember the characters. I don't care about the characters. I didn't care about the story.
Let's do it.
Splendid. Splendid.
I just can't get invested. I want to say this. I said this in a comment I made on the video. I think we're mostly going to go for strength when it comes to this character. We'll keep intelligence at 1. We know that. Good name. Let's rank our charisma. We need some good endurance. Let's see. Perception. Let's do a little on that. Agility. Let's do 4. Wait. Right here. I'm gonna do. Oh my gosh. I mean, claw build. Can't. There. Because we already have Dova.
Wonderful.
So,
Just gonna walk this over
I want to talk about the enemies in the game real quick, because this was the one thing I was thinking about when my comments. This has nothing to do with the story part.
It's peace of mind. That's why you do paperwork, right?
For you and Sean, no price is too high.
Man, it is. Okay,
Good.
I need to pause this for a sec so I don't lose my train of thought. But there's so much enemy variety in the Fallout games, even New Vegas and such. The enemies are interesting, they're fun, they're dangerous, and the games can get intense and very atmospheric. I feel none of that with Cyberpunk. None of that. Cyberpunk has generic gang number 1, generic gang number 2, maybe a third generic gang, the corporation, maybe some big mechanized dudes, some drones, the police, which shouldn't count because then I'd have to count all the police forces that have been included in a Fallout and even an Elder Scrolls game. And even those have way more variety to them. And that's the other thing, like the police don't interact realistically, they just teleport in, they don't act like they would in Grand Theft Auto or anything. NPCs don't act realistically. Driving sucks in that game. I've already talked about how empty the skies are. There's no like air traffic, so flying around may be a valuable option. And like I never get the sense, even with Cyberpunk, that I want to explore its world or care about its side quests. Like, I actually get bored of the thought, and there's not as many cool weapons. Like, I thought there were a couple. There's like a lock-on weapon, but honestly, is that any good? That kind of just makes the game easier, if anything. And it talks to you, which is annoying. Uh, but, man, like, by the end, I come back to New Vegas way more than I would Cyberpunk. Yes, it is me personally, and yes, I do have a blind love for some games, but not New Vegas. And the fact that I'm defending New Vegas over Cyberpunk, especially since I don't think Cyberpunk is that good. Cyberpunk is the type of game that we have been fighting against because we hate games. Even Fallout 76, we've been fighting against games. But even Fallout 76 is better than Cyberpunk. That's the funny thing. If it was day one Cyberpunk versus day one Fallout, I would definitely say that we got it worse with Fallout, because Fallout barely had a story to cling to, at least. But now, the Fallout 76 and Cyberpunk of now, I still think I like Fallout better. Fallout 76. It's fun. I like the community. People are actually nice on Fallout compared to how they are in ESO. People are real assholes sometimes in that game. I've had some of the worst experiences in that game. And then, like, freaking, even ESO is better than Cyberpunk, and I freaking get pissed off with ESO. Cyberpunk's just not that amazing, and these themes I just read a little bit ago, I don't remember them and I don't care. Even though they're in the environment itself, I don't give a crap. Because I don't care. I think what Cyberpunk does, other than using the anime probably to gaslight you, is that it does have a really good presentation. It's trying to be a movie, which I don't want that with every game. Fine, God of War, but like, does every game have to be a Naughty Dog game? No. And the fact that he's saying its story is better because it's more straightforward, which is what Fallout fans of the previous Fallout 3 and even of 4. So why would they freaking like it here? The only differences, too, with the RPG elements is the beginning, the ending, and the romances. That's it. And I don't even like the endings. They're so boring. The endings are so boring. And that's funny because the slideshow endings of Fallout I would think would be more boring, but I'm way more invested there. They're more interesting. There's actually stuff going on, and I actually have feelings. Like, I could shed a tear for some of the things going on to some of my favorite factions or characters. I don't feel that with anything in Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk doesn't have the atmosphere of Fallout. It doesn't have the... It's got good music, but Fallout has come to not only characters and music at this point, I would even say Fallout 4 have iconic ass music and characters. Is Cyberpunk and then some of these blind fans actually getting pissed off. I was getting pissed off about New Vegas, and stumbled upon this video. The more I thought about this video, the more it pissed me off. I still think that video and it's great, and that they did a really good job, and I would say they're a better YouTuber. I would hope to strive to be better. But man, I just couldn't. I felt the enemies were more interesting in Fallout game, even Fallout 4, and even Skyrim have more factors in the environment. Take two examples of Skyrim alone, where there's plenty with Fallout 4 alone. So much I could use with New Vegas. And when it comes to Fallout, like, even the story is more memorable. Fallout 4 and the characters and stuff. Nobody's going to forget Nick Valentine. Nobody's going to forget Curry. They're iconic, whether it be Diamond City, Megaton, New Vegas. whatever, Underworld. There's so much. I would even say the first two Fallout games are leagues better. Fallout 2 is probably one of the best Fallout games in my opinion. It may not age well when it comes to gameplay terms, but it's so good in its story and its choices and such. And it doesn't have like a time limit attached to it, and you can actually push NPCs out of the way of doorways and stuff, which is nice to have finally at that point, though we kind of have that problem once again. I can't with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk should not join the ranks of games like this. The fact that it's trying to reach that and there are people who are saying it's better than is just actually genuinely feels disgraceful. So let me use the example from Skyrim. So first off, joining the Stormcloaks or Imperial Legion, you actually see the physical effects of what happened to the city as well as the characters that are no longer running the place as Jarl and such. That actually makes a visible effect to the environment and such. And then you got as well as the guards even, like the change of guards. And like you actually feel that. And then one tiny little example, and this can be seen throughout basically different parts of Skyrim, mostly in a side quest, but even in other stuff like joining the Blades and having some of your companions join the Blades too, as well as the killing of Parthenax, deciding whether you should or shouldn't do that, the way the Greybeards will interact with you, stuff like that. And even Alduin is more memorable. Who even was the villain again of Cyberpunk? I don't remember if it had a villain, or if it was trying to be that thing where it's like, oh, we're deep and we think we're deeper than we actually are because we're Zack Snyder. We're so cocky about our story. We think we're saying something meaningful. So we're using it like that crap. I hated Man of Steel. Like, Steel did a lot of that thanks to Zack Snyder, and I hated that crap. So fake and in your face. And when it came to this, I'm sorry that I'm paused on the screen. I have to get this stuff out. There was a point where you do a quest for the Thieves Guild where you have to get money from these three people. I love Ian Barb, and I love Karava and Talon J. They're just really adorable characters. They're nice. And it's one of my favorite shops. So when you decide to beat her up for her money, or any of the characters, honestly, you get to do that. You return to the Thieves Guild. Every other time you return back to that tavern, they will interact very rudely with you now, instead of the nice way they would have done if you didn't do that. And I felt that. I have nothing like that I feel or give a crap about. I'm sure there are things, but I just don't care and I don't feel it from Cyberpunk. That's the example too. And technically I can see what Skyrim's do. Like, Skyrim has improved stuff even from the previous games. It improved the fast. I actually think fast travel is better in Skyrim. It's like a combination of both Oblivion's fast travel and of Morrowind, where like you have to go up to a cart, example Stilt Strider, pay to travel somewhere. You unlock that location. Now you can fast travel to it whenever. And yes, you have the compasses stuff, but because they're trying to be more cinematic and not have the stuff in your face, I actually like the UI. It's become iconic, and that like your health bar and all that isn't in your face. It's actually very limited, and there's not much in your face. So really, most of the time, if anything. And you can even get rid of that in the options, or make the game harder if you think it's too easy, as well as survival mode now, but whatever. But yeah, like there's you can make the experience much better. And I actually like the story of. There's actually a video too that I like that was talking about Alduin. I think it's Villainopedia, and and they made an example where he said he would have liked it better if he Alduin went by his destiny. I actually think it's more interesting that he didn't. And he says this exact opposite problem with Mehrunes Dagon and just kind of shies over that. And it's like, wait, but you said the opposite thing with Mehrunes Dagon, even though it would be the same situation as Alduin, where it's like he wants to rule or destroy the world. It's kind of his destiny too, or what he's known for as a Daedric prince. But you're saying for him you don't like it and that it's generic, but for Alduin you think it's not generic and want it to be that way. Alduin's just a more interesting villain than anything freaking Cyberpunk has too. um, Once again, you can make him harder even on the harder difficulties and such. But whatever. And he has 2 boss fights instead of 1. I don't know why straight up Irish, the way he talked about him having just being like as if it was just 1 boss fight. I mean, you could probably argue he's like, oh, I forgot there was another one because you get so much help and it's such a short fight. I guess you could kind of make fun of it, but it's still cool. Alduin, you feel his presence in the same way that like Sephiroth and such, you feel their presence. Like they're barely in their game, and like yet they're such memorable villains. And then you got freaking just like I can't with Cyberpunk. But when it comes to Fallout 4 with the changes, like there's a lot that happens when you decide to choose a different faction, and there's a lot here that can change in Fallout 4, like alone, like the faction stuff. Take the Brotherhood of Steel, for example. Like if you choose the Brotherhood of Steel, you find out Dance is a synth, spoiler, and that there's several choices. You can kill him, not kill him, spare him, and then you can even get confronted by Elder Maxon. And then there's just more choices added to that. Yes, it's a life or death choices, but there's just a lot more going on here. And then think of the weight of, like, they want you to kill the Railroad, the Institute, all that, or any one of the factions want you to kill one or the other. And then you realize not only are you missing out on rewards from each faction, but you're completely annihilating them, their quests, their characters, and their companions you could potentially have. And it's like, that's such a big effect. And now, like, the Brotherhood of Steel or whatever faction you chose will navigate around the world protecting the people or fighting enemies as they go. Even Liberty Prime will be wandering around. It's like, that's just a lot more effective to me. When it comes to the choices in Cyberpunk just, it's very fake RPG elements to me, and really, once again, real difference is when even Fallout 4 has effective stuff. Even what I said before about Skyrim having stuff, whether it be the way the Imperial versus Stormcloak war actually has a physical effect on the outlook of the world. Like, you look at Whiterun and you actually see parts of it destroyed. There's new guards now. You can even replace the Jarls and such. Or characters will just be pissed off at you in general, show different emotions towards you. Like that one Thieves Guild quest I used as an example, where Talon J, if you decide to beat up Talon J and Karava or any one of those characters in that one of those first quests, they will be a dickhead to you the rest of the game. And you actually feel that. You're sad. You love to be in the bar. It's one of the most memorable taverns in that game. Those characters actually get mad at you if you decide to beat them up for the money. And it would be the same situation with the other places that you decide to beat up the people who own that money. And the one individual you decide not to will at least be nice to you because you decided not to beat them up. But in fact, And that's just comparing Skyrim. I haven't really done enough with Fallout yet. Well, I did, but like I don't feel like I need to just on that basis alone, yet there's still more to go over with it. I have the game pause too, just because like these characters are kind of distracting me right now because I have a problem with trying to say this stuff over these assholes. Maybe I shouldn't have started a new game, but whatever. Let's just have this play while I go. But this was just about like the story elements. And even when it comes to like the gameplay, there's not enough variety to the enemy types compared to something like the enemy types in the Fallout games. There's so much more enemy variety. The characters are still memorable and iconic in Fallout, and yeah, it has the years ahead of Cyberpunk to go, but still, even if it came out today, it would still leave that much impact better as long as it was in a position better or similar to what it is now. Probably most likely better, hopefully, I would hope. Here, I'll play with you, Brat. Yeah, I don't agree with, like, I'm actually agreeing with that video that's titled "The Cyberpunk Anime is Gaslighting People into like the Game." I'm starting to agree with that. What did you say to me, wife? Yeah, I'm kind of sick of the blind love for the game. Here, I'm spinning the goddamn thing for him. And I feel like there is obsessive blind love for it. And the guy that I'm talking about, once again, I don't want to use a name or anything, I do feel like he has a blind love for the game. I think it's actually heresy. I use that more jokingly, but it is actually heresy to be like so better than New Vegas. And it's like, how are people not getting pissed off at just that alone? It is not better than even Fallout 3 and 4. Fallout 3 and 4 are better games to compare something like Cyberpunk, but when your reasoning for Cyberpunk being a better game is that it has a story people didn't like of Fallout 3 and 4.
Confirmed reports, I repeat, confirmed reports of nuclear detonations in New York
and that its story is presented more movie-like. I wouldn't compare the show to a movie.
Oh my god.
I can't compare Breaking Bad to El Camino or the Korean. I can't. They're two different tones. Fallout Vegas is a different beast of game story-wise, because it's not trying to be what Cyberpunk is doing. Cyberpunk's a different game when it comes to the stuff, not when it comes to the gameplay and stuff. There is elements that are similar. I can see why you would compare it when it comes to like gameplay and stuff. But man, it doesn't have the variety of the enemies that Fallout's known for in any of the games. And it's not as interesting.
We need to get in. We're on the list.
Infant, adult male, adult female.
There's just better factions.
You two, follow me. Come on.
Okay,
What's
sir.
gonna happen to all those people outside the gate?
There's better enemy variety. People, like the police officer function. Functions in Cyberpunk. Generally functions in a Bethesda game. Want good video that just destroys a video called Cyberpunk 77 is better than Fallout New Vegas. Who is beat my video on. I love his song and I love his video. He basically talks that the glitches kind of hid a lot of the actual problems going on with Cyberpunk, and a lot of fake elements, a lot of character and stuff. It had a lot of problems. Had nothing. You don't even connect to the glitches. Crap. I don't know why people it right now. It's so fun. Oh, of course, it's the anime. Didn't we have a bunch of other video game, like, movie animes happen at the same time? We had Tekken, we had Sonic movie, and we're having more. I hope that this is just a phase, and that it goes away as soon as, like, I actually hope. While I don't really care to play the new God of War yet, I am hearing great things about it. I hope that I will love it. I'm going to look into it and probably buy it eventually. I wasn't really keen at first because I had some problems with the first God of War, but I wouldn't say the first God of War was bad by any means. But I do think that Cyberpunk has too many problems for me to be like, it's a good game, or better than a Fallout game. I just can't agree with that. I did not like the game that much. Come on, dude. Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Run over here. There you go.
This is one of our most advanced facilities.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. See, these characters are already more interactive right off the bat here than they are saying hi to me as I walk by. Barely NPCs in Cyberpunk even do that. Okay, thank you. See, you're lively, unlike the characters in Cyberpunk. Just Cyberpunk just does not have any of the frickin' like personality or charm, even its own, that I give a crap about. I do feel like it is a blind love. I do feel like it's the anime that people are really getting hooked on this idea that it's actually a good game. I don't think it's a good game still. I still think it's a mess. There are still people with the disadvantage of the game not being very good.
Who's my little guy? I'm not going far. I'll just be over there.
It's just really annoying to me.
See? Daddy's not going far.
All set? Just step inside and put on your
I don't
suit.
have on, by the way. I'll later. Because I was messing with my, better be the quality alone. But something was messing with my game. And how it was running.
Contaminate and depressurize you.
Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 and such aren't perfect. New Vegas isn't perfect. I'm going to be making a video on the Fallout games. But to say that Cyberpunk is better than even just one Fallout game, I think even Fallout 76, once again, now, is better than Cyberpunk now. If it was back in the day 1 Fallout 76 versus day 1 Cyberpunk, I would say Cyberpunk is better, because at least it has a story and characters. Now that Fallout is established, it's day 6, that is. And it's a little bit more just a game is just playable. Even 76, I would say, is better than Cyberpunk now. Like, now 76 is better than now Cyberpunk. I just can't see why Cyberpunk would be even remotely said as better. I think it is kind of a blind love. I think it's an obsessive kind of, you played so many hours of the game that, like, the person's gonna be like, of course we see this game as almost a masterpiece, to put it over New Vegas and put it on their top Steam list, which is just weird on its own alone, because how many games are on Steam? Maybe this guy hasn't played many games on Steam, but how many games are on Steam? And yet you put Cyberpunk over most of them? That alone just gives me like red signals. It's just dumb. I don't agree with it. I don't think you played enough games, even on Steam. It's just dumb in general. I would say any of the Fallouts are better than freaking Cyberpunk. So when it comes to the characters, I think the characters are well designed in Cyberpunk. But man, how are you going to compete even with Fallout 4's characters? Like Nick Valentine, Curie Codsworth, you name it. They're all freaking iconic and memorable at this point. And that was fast. They're really well designed. They've become iconic over time. Even the monsters, the enemy types are freaking iconic and memorable. And there's much better lore and storytelling, especially if you watch Oxhorn. It's kind of like watching the equivalent of him for Dark Souls. Freaking body video. Open.
Come on, come on, come on! Oh God!
And presentation as well as acting and stuff is really strong in Cyberpunk. But I just can't put myself to say that it is better than a Fallout game, even now. I had a similar effect with another game, whereas like I was blindly in love with Outer Worlds when it originally came out, but the more I came back to that game to play it again, the more I realized how fake its RPG elements were, how less of content it had compared to everything else. Now I can't stop thinking I should have named my character NordVPN. So I want to do a Dovahkiin build because my other one, sadly, something went wrong with the save. So I had to restart. That's another thing. I just don't care about the builds or anything. Like, I don't care about the side quests. I don't care about anything in Cyberpunk, honestly. Like, that game got really boring. The gameplay is only as fun as what you're using it for, and when it comes to what you're fighting in Cyberpunk, I just don't care. It's a bunch of gangs, and then company, and maybe police officers if you're a dumbass enough to attack them. But man, if you come, even then, it's like there's so little variety there compared to Fallout, even. And I know they're different universes, but that's just it. Like, Cyberpunk's still a sci-fi universe that should have, like, interesting things going on, and yet I just don't feel that. Get over here. I'm gonna punch you to death.
Giant roaches?
Yes. Giant roaches. So we can use melee weapons. That is totally fine with this character. I just will not use guns. The only gun I will use is the gamma gun. You know why? Because that will reflect the shout that I want to portray with the Dovahkiin character build I'm doing. So that will be our equivalent of the shout. The Fusroda. I might have to limit myself on how much I use that at a time, because usually there's a time limit on the shout in and I'll have the strength to just Fus row instead of, or Fus. And it'll make more sense there. Got a bunch of freaking jumpsuits. What the hell's with that? Is that another door? This is another door, that's funny. Yeah, this game's still glitchy too, but man, like, I still have problems with Cyberpunk. When I first jumped on again after the anime to see if the game was any better, I already ran into a glitch of two people sitting inside one another. It was like, wonderful. And you got like building elements in this game, and settlements and stuff. You go save this settlement. Yeah, that's annoying, but whatever. But yeah, like, every time I try to talk about something with,
Where is everyone?
with each, like, whether it's a side quest, even the side quest in Fallout games are more, like, things, and better than anything, I can't even compare the side quests to Cyberpunk. Because Cyberpunk's side quests, I not only don't remember, and I guess I would need the time to remember them, but I just don't care either. I'm not into them. There's not enough choices. Even Fallout 4 has decision making that actually affects things. Yeah, we'll take this, but we're not going to use it. Pull up your frickin'... Oh, that's right, I can't. There you go, good. We're gonna probably use dog meat to get that for us. I'm probably gonna sell some of these goods. I don't know if I'll take everything though, because my inventory will get filled up. Um, yeah, I don't know what to say. In every single department that I could talk about between Fallout and Cyberpunk, I just cannot agree with it being better than any of the Fallout games on any level. Like, I don't care, like, what it is. There's nothing. How are you can't even compare it.
Terminal somewhere.
Alright, I have to go to the terminal. I can't compare Cyberpunk. Its enemies aren't good. Its driving isn't good. Its NPCs aren't lively or any good. Even aren't memorable enough. There's a few. Excuse me, gee. Even like the. God, something in my throat or something. I need a drink. 1 second. I want to hear actually. Been talking so long, it's starting to kill me. This is what happens, Cyberpunk. This is what you do to me. You're that bad. Just kidding. You're still not good though. Even Witcher is still better than you by leagues. And I have some of the Cyberpunk comic books and stuff, and I love the anime. I will say that, but I don't think that means that Cyberpunk is good just because the anime is good. Cyberpunk is still trash. I still have problems with it. I still have the same problems with it. Doesn't matter what platform I'm playing on. Yes, it would probably function better for some people than to others. But man, I still don't care. I still don't think that for the entirety of it, they should find a game. But and I don't agree with what you're make mind. Hoping that same option. Whatever. Late. This you agree. There's a disagree. There's to be this or that. This is just from my perspective. But I also do feel like, to some extent, this is a little bit objective. That I don't think Cyberpunk is better. There's just too many levels that it fails objective compared to Fallout, and that can't be different. Fallout is really a or the way it tell it's once again it's people like because they try to be more people actually choice fake RPG. It's with that you got the stuff like the for the way the police, the AI interact with the shop, the idea of characters, all the you just great and presentation once again and can simulate the Anthem over, which is Anthem's garbage. And I haven't played Anthem in forever. So, I at least went back to Cyberpunk. I did go back to Anthem. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll try and give it another chance, but I doubt it. I really tried with Cyberpunk. I just got really bored really quickly. Even when I was bored, I tried. There's like a romance I was trying to get through in Cyberpunk at the time. And I was just like, I just don't care. I can't get through this. I don't care about these characters enough. I'm not invested. And even the romances feel very restrictive and limited. So it's still even in where there are actual like differences in the decisions you make, it still feels restrictive and linear. I don't know. It's not a bad thing to be linear. It's just once you start comparing to something like Fallout, it's like, especially New Vegas, it's like, are you crazy? Is the question going to be asked a lot. That is not even a thing up for debate. That's not even a comparison you can make. Frick that. And man, like, I just don't understand. I don't understand the blind love for this game. It's like, I know the Cyberpunk is interesting and stuff, but Deus Ex was better. Honestly, Deus Ex is better. It also has RPG elements that work way better. I have to say, it's actually better. Like, even the same genre game Cyberpunk that is within isn't better than the same genre games counterparts and crap. So this is ridiculous. I'm sorry, I just can't with Cyberpunk. It's the type of game people have fought against. You know, people hated having games that were unfinished on release. While I can give some leeway to No Man's Sky because of their situation and what was going on at the time of making the game, they got their office flooded and such, and they had a lot on their shoulders, and they're a very small manned crew of people. I can at least give them some leeway. I don't think it's a good example to live by, but I can give them some leeway. But when it comes to stuff like Sea of Thieves and Fallout 76 even, and Cyberpunk, it's like I can't give them enough leeway to be like, they're really good games, especially now. I can't agree with that. I will probably play some of them from time to time and give them a chance or so. Where I've kind of come to enjoy both Sea of Thieves and 76 better now. I definitely think they are somewhat more confident, but I still wouldn't call them better than the other Fallout games or even other games in general. Can't see a best pirate game, even now, with all it's done. It's not a bad game, and I think it is for the better, but it really needed to be that in the first place. And who knows what else Cyberpunk will do, if it'll start doing like microtransactions and such. Like, then I will definitely have more problems. But right now, $60 and the fact that it's still a glitchy mess, and that a lot of the elements that is trying to be compared to a Fallout game, especially just ironically the freaking it's just so ironic because I argued that Fallout New Vegas does the story and choices and branching path elements way better than any other Fallout. Well, unless we're talking about the first two. Like, that's the department it does the best, even when it comes to the companions and they have connected to them such. Like, you chose that, of all things, to say Cyberpunk does a better job with its story and themes. get out of here. Get lost with that. You may make some good points. You may have a clickbait title, which honestly, once again, like I say in the description, it works, sadly. And I'm fighting clickbait with clickbait. I just can't see that on any level that Fallout is not better than Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is one game that had a lot of problems on release. Stop trying to bring it into the light. Stop trying to make it seem like it is a better game than it is. It is not. I find the main characters unlikable. They throw the only character I actually started to care about, Jackie, out way too soon. It feels like there's way too much cut content of his in the beginning because they flash forward through a bunch of stuff that you do with him. And there's only so few things that actually change, both the beginning, the romance options, unless you decide to skip those altogether, and the ending. And the endings are freaking boring. Even the beginning feels like a drag, and a lot of the parts in the beginning will play out exactly the same, and it's actually longer than like the beginning stuff for all the Fallout games. Because like the Fallout games, it's like this sequence here, for example, going to this and then saving Prescott and such. Most of this will always play out the same, but at least I'm getting to the fun parts of the gameplay sooner. Oops, I guess I didn't... What? At least I'm getting to the, Where is this? Oh, there it is. At least I'm getting to the fun gameplay elements. When it comes to the stuff with, the beginning with Jackie and stuff, while I like Jackie, I'm not enjoying the beginning stuff with, Cyberpunk. It's taking too long to get to the fun of the game. And there are games that do that well, like I think Red Dead does that well and stuff. But, and yeah, he uses Penguin Z, but I don't think that's a good example, because you're still fighting for the fact that you're going off of saying that the reason Cyberpunk is better is because it's got a more linear cinematic movie-like story quality telling to its story. And that's not what they want from Fallout, and Fallout is a different beast from those games, as well as I don't even think Penguin in that video is thinking of the Fallout games or any Bethesda games when he's talking about it at the time. He was mostly talking about, of course, the games you're basically fighting for the situation being that of more cinematic, linear told games, like God of War and Red Dead, which once again are fine. Are really great games. Hi. Hi. You done now? Thank you. But like, that's what I have a big problem with, like, frickin'... Well, I have several problems, but that's one of the ones that, like, I don't understand you when you're arguing for those points. Yes, I feel like what Penguin Z is still really good, and what he says was great. But it does not work here. It does not work for your discussion, because you are starting off with comparing a game that wouldn't entirely apply to, because it is not trying to be one of those kind of games, and I'm actually sick of seeing those kind of games sometimes. Like, I'm fine with God of War, even though some people frickin' get pissed that are fans of God of War are pissed off with the new God of Wars, and I agree to an extent. I think that there were some good story elements and telling and character development. Like, what happened to... They didn't even focus on the fact that Kratos was an asshole, or just had anger issues. Like, they barely focused on that. And he feels like a completely different character. And then the fact that I hate how zoomed in the camera is for God of War. It's like way too zoomed in. It needed to be like a Dark Souls camera angle, honestly, or whatever. I want to be able to see what's going on around me. Which is funny because it has a lot of similarities to Dark Souls than it did. to God of War when it originally came out. I was just thinking, why didn't you just do the God of War gameplay? It's not like that's totally outdated. You got Devil May Cry and Bayonetta and just those freaking games in general. That's basically what God of War was like. So I don't understand that. Open the goddamn door. And there's a show coming out soon, so forget the hopes. I hope this is just a phase and that the blows over. I will really miss, and I will come after you, all of you in life. I will hunt you down like the scum you are. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe. I want to make you a little bit on edge at least. But no, I just don't agree with that crap. Cyberpunk is not better than even Fallout 3 and 4. There's so much more I could go into. I feel like just that stuff alone works. It just works. I don't feel like I don't want to go into the story details. There's just way too much to cover there. This video is long enough as it is, and I think I made my point. And I don't think I made my point. I think the way in what I already previously discussed, and some of the stuff like are still better. What? Sorry that most of this video was like standing around at a computer screen or on a pause menu and stuff. Just started getting distracted by the character. I know I should probably script more. This is why I do think that YouTubers like that are better than me. But then again, I don't have quite the benefits of tech and all that they may have. Yeah, my best with what I've got. Working kind of budget compared to them. Well, definitely budget. But also just that my tech has been very disagreeable with me. I've been having a lot of technical issues in general. And a lot of my devices placed. And right now, a lot of the time, I don't always do that. Or you have something depressing or something in my life. It's kind of for where I just get to certain things. So, I'm sorry if the video aren't always up to par, or you're not always gonna find quite as bit of a exact. That's what I have with, and I hope you still are entertained. You said something interesting or of value. Even over that stuff. I will be playing more of this, and it will be more fun, and I'll actually be doing stuff. Hopefully my commentary paired with that will not be distracting me or have something seriously. I think I need that kind of quiet time to be able to think to myself, because otherwise going on. Go or commentating, but when it comes to serious conversation, it's like I don't know what else. I need.
As I live and breathe. Oh,
it's really a more memorable character than most of the goddamn characters in Cyberpunk.
Codsworth? You're
May
still here.
I evaluate these
Other people could still be
I
alive,
don't think
too.
the dialogue options are good in this game. But I still think you can kind of roll, like when you wear the Silver Shroud stuff and you start to become the Silver Shroud when you talk to people. Like, that's cool. Like that. So I think there's some differences, even if the conversations and the way the story goes is mostly the same. But I mean, is that any better, any different, or even better with Cyberpunk?
She's
Hey,
in a better place.
Sir, these things you're saying, these terrible things, I believe you need a distraction. Yes, a distraction to calm this dire mood.
I won't say that necessarily. I just think that is just way too far, honestly.
Sean does so love that game.
Uh,
Is the lad
joking, of
with
course,
you?
but I like every time I thought about the video, it just got worse and worse, and I started just more and more like, what the hell is this video? I don't agree with this and that. It started to get worse and after that. It's
Oh, please, take your time.
Sean's been kidnapped. But I'm going to find him. I'm going to get my son back.
It's worse than I thought.
we're going to become the
You're suffering from hunger-induced paranoia. Not eating properly for 200 years will do that, I'm afraid.
200 years? What? Are you...
A bit over 210, actually, sir. Or give or take a little, for the Earth's rotation and some minor dings to the old chronometer. That means you're 2 centuries late for dinner. Perhaps I can whip you up a snack? You must be famished.
Codsworth, you're acting... a little bit weird. What's wrong?
Oh, sir, it's been just horrible. 2 centuries with no one to talk to, no one to serve. I spent the first 10 years trying to keep the floors waxed, but nothing gets out nuclear fallout from vinyl wood. Oh, nothing. And don't get me started about the futility of dusting a collapsed house. And the car! How do you polish rust?
Stay with me, pal. Focus.
I'm afraid I don't know anything, sir. The bombs came and all of you left in such a hurry. I thought for certain you and your family were dead. I did find this holotape. I believe the missus was going to present it to you as a surprise. But then, well, everything happened.
Thank you, Codsworth.
You're welcome.
I like the voice acting.
Enough feeling sorry for myself. Shall we search the neighborhood together? The missus and young Sean may turn up yet.
I at least remember the exact personality.
All right. Lead the way.
Proud to serve, sir.
And it doesn't help. Oh, what is going on with my thumbstick? Okay. The sensitivity was weird for a second there. I couldn't even move it. I like to move it, Okay, I better not do that. Why do you...
I dare say I'm slightly
Slightly disappointed. Thank you for the bloat, let me.
My sense of picking up the movement in another house. Follow me.
Okay. Go, Codsworth. Anyways, I will see you guys next time. I want to end the video here before it gets any longer, and I will see you guys on the next video. I hope I was able to discuss enough. If you guys want more, maybe I'll do a second part, but for right now, that's all I really wanted. I felt like I wanted to discuss. You killed him. Thank you. Because I felt like I got all the stuff I wanted to truly say out of the way. and I feel like everything I had to contribute to the conversation is, yeah, like, there's definitely more that could be talked about. Like, once again, like I said, there's a lot of detail you can go into with just the stories, but I don't feel like doing that, and that's just a mouthful.
The missus and young Sean, they aren't here.
Thanks for trying, Codsworth.
You can't give up, sir. What about the city? Concord is nearby, and, well, the people there have only shot at me a few times.
There's still people alive in Concord?
Yes, although they're a bit rough. You remember the way? Just across the southern footbridge, out of the neighborhood, and past the Red Rocket Station? I shall remain here and secure the home front.
Codsworth. Are you sure you wanna?
Codsworth.
There must be someone who can help you in Concord.
Oh, okay. He's, hopefully he'll get out of that sticky situation he's in right now. Remember, if you did enjoy this video, to like, share, and subscribe, leave your comments below, and I'll see you guys next time, and hit the bell for notifications. Keep up to date with the latest content and our videos. Guys, next time. Bye. Have an awesome day. That's right, this button's for